Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Thank you all for joining us for this first virtual networking event being hosted by S.O.A.R Hospitality and Travel. We're so happy that you decided to spend some of this beautiful Thursday here with us today. I am so excited to be able to host and be a support for you all this evening. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. I love seeing that we have some scholars on here tonight from our current cohort for virtual business and entrepreneurship. So big shout out to everyone on the call. I see Nana, I see BJ. I see Hitesh is coming on now, Jaslyn. Both Nicoles are here. Our CEO is here. So we're just so excited. Miss Rosie McCamery is here to have you all with us tonight. So I'll just give you a format of what we're going to be doing. So we're actually going to start right off the bat with a raffle for tonight. So our first person to join the call was Nana. So Nana, you have won yourself a prize for your punctuality and for being here. So thank you so much for being here. So yes, we will be giving out prizes to celebrate for our virtual networking meeting. So Nana, we have all your information. So thank you for being here and for winning the first prize. All right. And so at this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again. Well, I'm actually already sharing, but I'm going to share a video. We do have some a guest on the call. So for those who may not know about S.O.A.R, I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can learn a little bit about more about our organization and what we do.
Hi, I'm founder and CEO of S.O.A.R Hospitality and Travel. As a nonprofit organization, our mission is to empower our youth to become future change agents, excelling in their academics while leading the charge in the fields of hospitality, tourism, business, and entrepreneurship. Simply put, our goal is to encourage our youth by improving their self-esteem, strengthening their leadership abilities and qualities, developing their business etiquette, fostering independent thinking, and creating opportunities that can transcend into any business or entrepreneurial career path desired. Our programs are designed to meet our scholars where they are. We offer impactful experiences through hands-on simulations and interactive engagement. Whether virtual or in person, our scholars are stimulated and encouraged to partake in innovative and forward-thinking dialogue. Our classes are taught by some of the nation's most experienced entrepreneurs, educators, and other subject matter experts in their respective fields. We foster an environment where respect, camaraderie, integrity, and excellence are not just terms, but practicing lifestyles. The resources we provide and our work to expand our reach through external collaborations, sponsorships, and partnerships continue to evolve, helping to bring much-needed light to those in dark places. Interested in partnering with us? Or perhaps you'd like to sponsor one of our scholars? Well, there are endless opportunities for you to get involved. Visit us on our website at www.letsornj.org for more information or contact us at info@letsoarnj.org. Together, we accomplish more. Let's soar!
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for engaging with us and allowing us to share that information with you. So, yes, please feel free to look us up on our website, letsoarnj.org, for more information. As I shared, we are currently in our virtual business and entrepreneurship series for the spring. So, we just wrapped up our fundamentals cohort where our scholars did phenomenally with their pitches, and they did such a great job. We are currently on, I guess we could call it a mini spring break. So the advanced cohort starts next week. So we're so excited about that. So again, for those who are just joining us, I am Latoya Dawkins. I have the pleasure of serving as one of the co-directors on the Virtual Business and Entrepreneurship series. We have the other director here, Professor J.R. Dawkins. We have our CEO here, Ms. Rosie McCamery. We also have other members of the board, including Ms. Chastity Kennedy. And also our instructor, one of our instructors for our advance, Mr. Mario Gray. He's going to be doing one of the classes in advance. So really excited to have him on the call as well. So without further ado, I'm going to share a little bit about Ms. Tamara. So Ms. Tamara has been a long time community partner with S.O.A.R as an organization. She has taught many times with us, several series with us, and she brings such a wealth of knowledge. So I'm going to be sharing my screen to share a little bit more about her and the work that she does also in the Roselle community. So Miss Tamara is a community manager in Roselle, New Jersey for community and business development. She is a local ambassador for Chase, whose job is to build and nurture relationships with key community leaders, nonprofit partners, and small businesses at the neighborhood level. Tamara hosts financial health workshops, facilitates nonprofit partnerships, and offers community programming. She is helping to advance racial equity by supporting Black, Hispanic, and Latinx communities with tools and resources to help them improve their financial well being. With over 10 years of experience in the financial services industry, Tamara has held a number of positions, including service manager and regional banking branch manager. She is currently a member of Chase's Black Organization for Leadership Development, Women on the Move, and Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Tamara currently lives in Union County and spends her free time with family, friends. She enjoys watching basketball and traveling. All right, y'all. So you're in for a treat. We're talking money. We're talking, we call it green, right? With our scholars. So have your pen and your papers out. I'm going to be sharing a handout that Ms. Tamara has supplied to us to help support our learning today. But again, take notes. There might be a prize at the end, a little trivia, a little game. So make sure you're paying attention. And Miss Tamara, these scholars, they're on the money. So you gotta hit them with some new because they are very much engaged and they're just a wonderful, phenomenal group. So without further ado, I'll pass it to you, Miss Tamara Seville. Let's virtually welcome her.
Thank you, Latoya, for that warm introduction, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our money skills workshop that we'll be going over today. As Latoya mentioned, I have been working with S.O.A.R, I believe maybe 3 years now, doing multiple workshops, and I enjoy every single workshop, being able to teach the community about finances, about budgeting, saving. Today in particular, we'll be covering the budgeting and saving topics. I hope everyone has their worksheet. Please feel free in between to use the chat feature, use the reaction buttons to ask questions. This will be definitely interactive. So once you have your worksheet ready, please feel free to give a thumbs up, and that way we can all get started. And Latoya is uploading it to the chat, so it's actually there now. So everyone, please just click on the worksheet so that we can get started. All right, and a thumbs up once you have your worksheet. And
I
also, please
see
feel free, pen
Nicole.
and paper.
Nicole gave a thumbs up.
Okay,
Alexis,
great.
Jaslyn.
Okay, great. So, Money Skills 101, budgeting and saving. Today, in particular, we'll be talking about setting goals, creating a budget if you've never created a budget before, making a habit of saving as well. Okay, so starting off, thinking about setting goals. A lot of you right now may have a lot of goals in mind, life events. You could be on spring break, but thinking about maybe what's going to happen for the fall, what's going to happen for the summer, any plans that you may have, maybe is vacation, maybe it's plans for graduation, right? Any of those plans that you may have today, we'll be talking about those goals. So please keep those in mind as we go along. We'll also be thinking about what motivates you, right? What is important to you? What keeps you going? What makes you think of, okay, well, this is my goal and this is why I'm going to continue to achieve my goal? Why is that goal important to you? It could be family, it could be for yourself, it could be because you want to be successful. Any reason is a valid reason and would be a relevant reason. So we'll be talking about that as well. So, thinking of goals and what is a SMART method, it's a specific acronym that we will all be breaking down together. So, you'll see that's like the first activity on your worksheet. Um, Thumbs up if you have ever heard of the SMART format. Quick thumbs up if you've ever heard of the, okay, I see Nicole. Any other virtual thumbs up there? Anyone? Okay, yes. I see some more coming in. Okay, great, great. So that means that this is very familiar information for you all. So thinking of first, like that S meaning specific. So any goal that we're creating, that goal has to be specific, right? I always say it's so easy to say I want to be rich. It's so easy to say I want to be a millionaire. It's so easy to say, you know what, I want to be a doctor. But what about the in between? What about the plan? How do you actually become a doctor, right? How do you actually become rich? How do you become successful? So any goal that we're creating, ensure that that goal starts with our S, which is specific. Okay. And in this example, we have Anna. Anna actually wants to save for a down payment on a used car. So that is a very specific goal. Now, how will Anna be able to achieve this? You have next, which is M. M is measurable. Measurable is pretty much the target goal of how you're going to accomplish this goal. For example, Anna said that she needs $1,500 for that down payment to buy her used car. So that is her target. Your target could specifically be a certain amount. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of a calculation. Okay, so if it's a down payment, for example, for an apartment, if it's a down payment for like a car, if it's a down payment for something you want to purchase, maybe you want to buy like a cell phone or something like that, knowing how much it costs in advance, that will always be your target goal, or however much money, let's just say that you're planning to save, that will be your target. Okay, so that is our M for measurable. Next, we have A for achievable, right? How will we achieve this? What is the plan to reach now that $1,500? So your goal could either be something that you're going to be saving weekly, it could be something that you'll be saving maybe bi-weekly, or it could be a monthly goal. So Anna's example, Anna will be saving $94 per week, and she's going to ensure that that fits into her budget because that's something else that's also important, right? As we're thinking of saving, we have to be sure that that money is available, and when we talk about the budget, we'll talk a little bit about how do we ensure that there's separate money put aside for those savings as well. But for Anna's example, Anna will have $94 a week to ensure that she is reaching that $1,500. Okay. Next, we have R, relevant, right? Remember, I was saying what motivates you? Why is this important to you? So, Anna needs a car because it will help her get to work, it will help her run errands, it will help her see her friends, right? All typical things that we would typically use a car for. So this is why Anna is motivated to be able to save her $1,500 to get the car. The very last part of the SMART format will be T, which is timely, or you'll sometimes you may see this as time bound, ensuring that you have a time frame. They say a goal without a date is just a wish. We're just manifesting it, right? But now we have to invest in our plan. So for Anna's goal, she's giving herself 16 weeks to be able to complete the goal. So let's put Anna's goal all together. Anna wants to save for a down payment on a used car. She needs $1,500. She's going to save $94 per week to fit that into her budget. The car will help her get to work. It will help her run errands. It will help her be able to go and see her friends. And her overall goal will be accomplished in 16 weeks. So that 16 weeks is because she calculated Each week, she will have $94 saved to the side. Okay. Now we have a full smart format. What do we think about this?
It's
Raise your
organized.
hand. Sorry, say that one more time.
It's organized.
It's very organized. Yes. And how do you pronounce your name? Is it Hitesh?
Hitesh.
Hitesh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hitesh.
It's
Yes, I
really
love that.
realistic.
It's realistic. Yes. And remember, I said earlier, right? We don't want to create a goal that just says, I want to be rich. I want to be successful. She didn't just say, I want a car, right? I want a car. Okay. Well, how do we get the car? So organized, realistic. I love those. Anything else out there? Any other ideas about the smart format?
She realized how her goal could help her.
She realized how her goal could help her, right? How am I benefiting from having this car? Again, back to that motivation. So really good. And thank you all for sharing. Now you all
It
are
helps her
going to,
know. Oh,
sure, sure. Go ahead, Nicole. Mm.
like it helps her know if this is like something important that she should like work on having. Like she could easily say like, "Oh, I want a new phone," but like she already has one and she doesn't need it. But like she like clearly wants and like needs a car to do stuff.
Great point, Nicole. And today we'll actually be talking a lot about needs and wants too. Anna understands that she needs a car because she needs a car to get to work for transportation, right? She needs to get around to be able to run her errands, right? Maybe right now her transportation could be like Uber, could be Lyft, but maybe that's not fitting too much into her budget. But a car could be definitely a little bit more beneficial to her and financially wise, more financially sound as well. Okay. Now that we have seen Anna's example, we all are going to use our worksheets to be able to now create our own SMART goal, right? And we're going to take about 5 minutes to do that. So we're at 6:50 right now. At 6:55, we all will come together and we'll get about 2 to 3 volunteers to share your SMART format goal. Any questions on our first activity? Any questions? Please feel free to raise your hand. Let us know. Any questions? All right. Timer has started. We have 5 minutes to start our smart format goal. Thank you, Latoya. Able to write down some great smart goals. Let's see. Please feel free to put your hands up when you are ready to share with us your smart goal. I know that there's some amazing goals out
Yeah,
there.
sure.
Okay, thank you. Oh, great. Nicole, can you start us off, please?
So my goal is to save money for clothing to wear during the summer. And so I will need to save around $100. And how I'll do this is I'll put $15 aside, oh, like per week from my allowance. And for my R, I said I don't have many short sleeve clothing. And so this will allow me to be comfortable during the summer when it's hot. And I said this goal can be completed in around 7 weeks.
Can we get a virtual clap for Nicole? Virtual clap. Those are definitely great SMART goals. I heard a specific goal, right? Ensuring that you said you prepared for the outfits for like the summer. It was measurable because you even said that you're going to make sure that you have $15 a week and also to be able to meet that $100. And your goal at the end of the year, at the end of the summer, sorry, was to ensure that you are prepared. And then you even said it's important because of the sleeves and then the different styles. So, are you a fashionista, Nicole, like myself?
I mean, I love shopping. I think that's a really bad habit I have. So I think if there's like a cute clothing, then I guess I'll buy it.
So, Nicole, I think creating the plan the way that you just did, right? Because I also love shopping, but then I had to tell myself that, you know what, I don't need this black heels and the blue heels, but you know what, if I do want to get the black heels, let me try to budget it. Let me try to plan for how I will be spending that money in advance. But thank you so much for sharing your plan. All right, we have the other Nicole next. Nicole, you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay. My goal was to get stronger and improve performance for cheerleading. So for my S, I said I want to build strength and endurance to improve my stunts, jumps, and overall performance in cheer. My M, I said I will work out 4 times a week. Um, I'll have two strength training sessions, and I'll do 2 times cardio conditioning sessions. For my A, I said so I already attend cheer practice, so adding on 4 more workouts a week um like fits into my schedule. And for my R, I said building strength and endurance will directly help me perform better in cheer routines and avoid injuries. And for my T, I said I will follow this plan consistently for the next 6 weeks and track my progress in my workout journal.
Another virtual clap for Nicole. And I want to make sure that I point out too, sometimes our goals do not necessarily need to be financial. She used a goal that was for cheer, right? And still make sure it was realistic. Sure, still make sure that it was very specific that okay, this is how I'm going to achieve it. This is how many times per week that I'm going to work out, including to why is it important to you as well? Why is it was relevant? Thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. And good luck with definitely with the plan and everything with cheerleading to get better. And I love how you said, you know what, I want to give myself more strength. That was really good. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have Hitesh.
Yeah. So I want to save money for my savings account. So what I would do is I want to save $100 monthly. So the way I'm gonna do it is by letting go of expenses such as coffee and outside food, because coffee is like it's $5 that I'm spending every day. So in a month, 5 times 30 is like 5 times 30 is 150. So every day I'm spending like $150. Every month I'm spending $150. So I would let go of that cost and buy less. And then the reason why I want to do it is so that my money would grow on compound interest, which could double the money exponentially. And the goal will be completed from the start of the coming month.
Wow, wow, wow. Please, 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 virtual clap for Hitesh. I love that you set a savings goal. I love that you started talking about compound interest. Have you attended any of our workshops in the past? No?
He's a source scholar.
He's a S.O.A.R scholar. Okay, because I'm like, some of that information sounds very familiar when you were talking about the saving, like with the $5 and how much you were saving per month. And today we'll be talking about that too. Pretty much what's the difference? Because his specific example was about coffee, right? Now, Hitesh, let me ask you a question. Coffee, do you now choose to make coffee at home? Is it better at home or is it better when you buy it?
Better when I buy it, but at least I'm getting coffee when I'm making it at home.
Right, right. And you can make the flavors exactly how, whether it's Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever is your favorite. So, um, definitely a great financial goal, figuring out how to cut down on the expenses and save a little bit more. Great goal. Thank you for sharing. All right. Next we have, and please let me know how you pronounce your name. I don't want to mispronounce it.
You can just call me BJ.
BJ. Thank you, BJ. We are ready for your SMART goal.
So my SMART goal was I want to have a consistent workout routine, and how I will measure it is I'll keep track of how many days I've done until my deadline, so then I'll know if I've really been consistent with what I've been doing, and is it achievable? Like, how will I realize it? I plan to set constant reminders or things that will help me, like, remind me to do it, because like in my room I usually have this pull-up bar, so like it constantly reminds me that I have to work out so like I don't break routine. And then how how is it relevant? Because like since my mom likes to do a lot of cooking, me and my siblings have to carry a lot of heavy stuff. So like it would have been a lot easier for them if I was able to like, carry heavy stuff. And the time I'd be able to finish it, uh I'd probably I'd probably I'd probably like it would become a discipline by the time of like the end of summer, because I'd have like a lot more time to like do what I gotta do, and you know.
Can we please clap it up for BJ? Another workout plan. So I know to come to you and Nicole whenever I need help to ensure that I'm in the gym and I'm working out on a specific routine and schedule. I love that you mentioned a couple things. You talked about discipline. You even talked about that visual reminder. So having the pull-up bar in the room specifically will remind you to work out. And then it wasn't just about you. You even talked about being able to help your mom, being able to lift around heavy things around the house. So sometimes our goals too is definitely not just for our own benefit. It also could be for others, maybe others that depend on us as well. But definitely a great goal because it was very specific. I love how you measured out how you will be doing your workout in different ways and being creative to ensure that you were working out and also why it was important to you as well. So thank you all so much for sharing. We are now going to swap out to breakout rooms and we're going to discuss in terms of our goals, some challenges, right? We just talked about how to create the goals, we talked about the plans, but what challenges do we face when either accomplishing our goals or having goals? Okay, so Latoya, we'll pass it over to you to put us into the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Yes, we'll go ahead and do that. If for some reason I did already create the rooms, but if for some reason you joined afterwards, we can easily move you into the room. So just bear with me. Miss Tamara, are we doing about 5 minutes? Is that enough time?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, great. All right, I'm gonna open the room. It should ask you to, actually, it's going to automatically move you also, but if there's any issues, we'll be here to help. Enjoy your discussions about your challenges. What is keeping you from reaching those goals, money goals, financial goals, personal goals? All right, here we go.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Did anyone want to share maybe some common challenges that we face with goals that we discussed in the groups? Please feel free to raise your hand or in the chat. And Jaslyn, thank you for sharing your small goal as well. We were able to read it during the breakout. So Nana said losing motivation. Yes, that happens sometimes. That does happen when we're pretty much planning our goals, creating our goals, staying on track for our goals. Sometimes we do lose the motivation. How do we get back on track? Did we discuss that as well? When we do lose motivation, how do we get back on track with our goals?
So personally for me, like my goal was reducing time for my like mile time, and when I usually run by myself I lose motivation. Like I don't want to go and run the next day, so I usually like call my friends and then run together. I think that's a good way, like chatting and running at the same time. So
Thank you, Nina. And that's called an accountability partner, right? Sometimes we just need someone to be there on our side because maybe that's their goal as well. And we have a common goal together that we'll be able to achieve it. And then, like you said, in the meantime, we don't even realize how much time we're running because we're chatting in the meantime of the workout. So thank you for sharing. Yes, Nicole.
You're muted, Nicole.
Sorry, yeah. For cheer, for like the strengthening part, I think it would like to get me back to do it. Like if I lost motivation, um, I wouldn't want to keep doing it alone if that's how I started to get unmotivated for it. Like maybe it should become like a team thing. Like for my cheer team, I'm the cheer captain, so I get to tell my team whether or not we work out together. The thing is, most of the girls also lose motivation. Like not everyone's the same, but like for me, I would love to do it as a team, and it'll be like for me at least, be very motivating to all work out together doing the same thing and stuff.
And Nicole, you know what? Some people work better in groups, and that's okay too. Some people work better in groups in terms of trying to accomplish, like I said, a common goal so everyone can be each other's accountability partner. For some people too, they are either better by themselves or they're in smaller groups. So for the cheer team, maybe putting everyone, maybe pairing people versus doing it everyone all together, because everyone has different strengths as well. But thank you for sharing. All right, Latoya, you wanted to share something?
Sure. Yeah, I was just thinking about one of the things that keeps me motivated with certain goals, not all goals. I still need a little help in that area and disciplining. But I had heard someone say that they do things for their future selves, like they do things for like, you know, the person they want in 20 minutes. So like even, small tasks or goals or even, bigger goals. So I've been starting to like implement that, like, doing things that the the future 20-minute Latoya from now would appreciate. And that's been helpful, kind of shifting my perspective in that way.
I love that, Latoya, because we talk about sometimes those short-term, immediate-term goals, and you're like that 20-minute Latoya, not the Latoya from 1 year from now, from 2 years, 3 years from now, but in 20 minutes, I want to be a different Latoya. And sometimes I tell people it's not about competing with others, compete with yourself. Compete with yourself first, and that could be another motivation that you want to be better. You want to be better for yourself. Thank you all so much for sharing. You'll see here on the screen, this one specifically, these goals here are financial goals, but it's some ideas behind them, right? So, for example, I love going to concerts, but concerts have been definitely way higher in price than like in the last 2 to 3 years, I can say. And so we'll see this example says 125, but we know that concerts are way more than 125, right? But for example, if you were saving up for a concert, think about setting a weekly savings plan, right? Think some of you shared in your goals that pretty much every single week, or even from getting allowance, this is how much I'll take from my allowance. But setting a weekly savings plan that again makes sense, that makes sense for your budget. Knowing that earn as you go. So earn as you go. Some of the banks and banking options they give you where you pretty much for every dollar that you spend out of like maybe a checking, you can get a dollar transferred over to your saving. Or as you're creating your goal, you're telling yourself, you know what? I have like a jar or I have like a piggy bank. I'm going to credit myself for something that I accomplished by putting money into that piggy bank, putting money into that maybe money jar. So earning as you go. And then even in the example Hitesh shared with us, spending less. Sometimes that happens when we're trying to create a financial goal, when we're trying to accomplish a financial goal. We now have to go back into the money that we're usually spending per day to now cut back a little bit. Right. In the other example, if anyone here is looking for, let's just say at some point in time, you're thinking about an apartment. Now, again, this number may not be realistic. It says $800 for a rental deposit. Apartments, if anyone is here in the Northeast, we know that an apartment could be well over, let's just say 1,200 to like $1,400 for a rental deposit. Right. But as an example, what can we do to now get prepared for that security deposit? Reviewing the expenses again to find where to save. And today, when we talk about the budget, we'll be breaking that down specifically. Determine how much can you save monthly, and that's very important because there's going to be other things that we have to pay that will be priority, and then the savings will is what we have at the end of whatever is left over. Number three, automate if possible. Technology is our friend, right? And I love how BJ earlier he was talking about like those reminders and setting the reminders in his phone. Technology a lot of times will help us because we don't have to think about it. If we already schedule something online, if you schedule it from like your online banking that I want $25 to go into my saving every 2 weeks or every 2 weeks when I get paid, automatically is doing it. You don't have to remember. So automation is definitely another great way to be able to create a savings habit. Okay. All right. So our next activity is going to be setting goals and saving. So keep the worksheet handy. You'll see where, which I'll put it up on the screen so that everyone can be able to see as well, just in case anyone does not have the worksheet in front of them. I will put up an example here so we all can see together. All right. So you'll see at the very bottom where it says, when it comes to saving, even small changes. This is kind of reminds me of what Hitesh was talking about, where he was saying that saving like that $5 a day from the coffee. You'll see here it says spending $5 less every day in 1 year adds up to $1,825, right? 1825 in 1 year. And if we create a habit and we become consistent, you'll see in 5 years, 9,125. Some of the goals that we may have, we're like, oh, that's perfect. That's enough money that I need, right? If you're thinking about in the future, anybody that's looking to start up a business or something like that, that costs money, right? So sometimes creating again a small habit making a difference for over time. And you choose that amount. right? Depending what it is that you purchase every day, whether again, if it's coffee, if it's tea, if it's snacks, if you like to eat out a lot, but maybe choosing an option that's not eat out. Let me go grocery shopping, and then now save my money that way. The activity that we'll be focusing now will be how could you spend $1 less every day? And then also, how could we spend $5 less every day? Right? We're going to take about like maybe 3 minutes for this one. So you'll have two options, right? How can you spend $1 less every day? And not we know not that many things are out there is a dollar, but at least close to a dollar. And then the same thing for $5 less every day. Two options for each. Any questions on this activity? All right. Latoya, if you can set the timer for us, please. All right. I'm sure we have some great, great ideas out there. We all would love to hear who would like to share with us. Okay, Nicole. Nicole, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. So something I wrote for saving $1 would be buying less snacks or drinks because those are usually $1 and you could buy them like in stores. Then I also said canceling subscriptions from like apps that I don't use anymore. And then for saving $5 a day, I said making home cooked meals or instead of going to out lunch because like my school offers out lunch or like buying takeout. And then I also said that some items could be borrowed instead of bought, like books.
I love, 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 love those ideas. And I can resonate with a lot of those because even for like the books, I remember like being in school and I would say, okay, so if I buy the book, I'll pay about $300. But if I rent the book or borrow it from like the library, I can either get it for free or get it at a discounted price. So those are definitely great examples in terms of saving, even like from not eating out and eating at home. Sometimes I have to tell myself, you know what? I'm actually going to cook today instead of ordering through Uber Eats. Sometimes life is happening and we're on the go. And so remembering that, okay, well, you know what? This is not part of my budget. Let me not spend this. So thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. All right, Hitesh.
Yeah, so for my plan, that would be the same thing as I said before, saving $5 by, not buying coffee or something. Coffee. So another thing that I would do instead of putting it into compound is also investing it in stocks when they're low. Because when they're low, I could buy them at a cheap price, and then when they're really high, I could take them out or like put them in, or just keep them the way they are so that they could rise in the long run.
Hitesh, I love that. So making your money make money for you, right? You're not just thinking about just
Yeah.
saving it, but I want this money to be able to grow. And a lot of times when we get to the point once we're able to, I consider like finances into like buckets. So like budgeting is the first bucket, saving is the next one, then credit, and the last one is investing. So once you get to the point you're able to accomplish and master all four, then yes, your money will continue to grow and your money will actually make money for you. So thank you. All right, we have BJ.
I actually have two ideas. One is something that is very, very much enforced in our household. So, like, to save money, we like mostly during the day we just turn off all the lights in the house. It's like there's almost windows in every room, and we just open the window blinds, and then light just comes in itself. And when it's night, that's when we start using the light. So our dad always tells us to turn off the lights when we're not using them, and when it's daytime. Another idea is my our family, we like to cook a lot. It's like we we of course buy a lot of vegetables. So this idea I've been having is like, why don't we just have a garden in our backyard instead of buying fruits from like stores? It could save us a lot of money. But building the garden itself might cost a little extra. But like just planting a seed inside the ground that and growing a plant that's free, and you could probably save a lot more money instead of buying it from a store.
Wow, wow, wow. BJ, can we all just give that a virtual clap, some hearts, some gems? You just talked about, I love that. The vegetables, and instead of buying them, right, or even going to like, let's just say a farmer's market, why not grow them? Why not get the seeds? And I'm sure that'd be a fun family activity to be able to do together. I grew up just like that in my mom's house. If it was daylight outside, there's no reason for the lights to be on in the house. And so we apply that same thing until it got like dark at night and then we would turn on the lights. So as a family together, you guys are already creating like that good habit. And I'm sure BJ, when you live on your own, you'll continue that habit as well because we have utilities that definitely gets expensive by the month and depending on the time of the year as well. So definitely great share. Just want to be sure that I check the chat to see if anyone else had added any other examples out there. I hear yes, turn off the lights. Yes, yes, yes. And then the DoorDash. Okay, Jasmine shared with us. She said for $1, stop buying snacks, limiting supporting sales at my school. Oh, I love that. For $5, limit going to the mall, limit or stop fast food. Yes, fast food sometimes it is cheaper, right? But it's not necessarily healthier. And sometimes the healthier food is a little bit more expensive. So believe it or not, sometimes when we're trying to limit our expenses and making those buying decisions, sometimes that's something else for us to consider as well. So thank you all for sharing. Now that we talked a lot about the goals, we talked a lot about the savings and those small habits. Now let's talk about actually creating a budget and how will we do that? With every budget, you will have what's called an income, which is the money coming in, and you will have expenses, money going out. So income could literally be, for example, Nicole shared earlier, she has like an allowance, right? It could be paycheck from your job. Maybe you have like an internship. Maybe you have, maybe you do tutoring, maybe you do babysitting, any type of side hustle. A lot of classes that I've done, we have people that they say they sell art, they sell music, or they're like an online curator, or they're like an online streamer, or like something on YouTube, or even any of the other social medias where they're getting paid to do like TikTok videos, right? So that could be any type of stream of income that you have coming in, right? Now, expenses. This is the part that is a little difficult because this is the one that is very, very hard to control. Expenses could be groceries. It could be the fun things that we decide to do maybe on the weekends with our friends. It could be if we have rent. If you have a car or transportation in general, whether it's like for a bus card or if it's for like Uber, for Lyft. Expenses include monthly savings, right? And then it includes bills. Raise your hand if you're paying bills. Raise your hand if you are already paying bills. Raise your hand or a thumbs up. Anyone out there paying bills, cell phone bill, cable bill, Netflix bill, Hulu bill. All right. I see Mario with a thumbs up. All right. If we have not reached the point yet of paying bills, that is good, right? This class is right on time because a lot of times with the bills, those are the priority, right? We talked about, yes, we want to have fun and everything like that. But the bills will be first. Our rent will be first. Sometimes even with the transportation, things like that to get around for work or to get around and ensure that we're making those payments where it comes to like a car loan, a car note, anything like that, ensuring that those bills are paid and those bills are paid on time. Okay. Thinking about now the expenses, the needs versus the wants, right? We were talking a little about that earlier. What are needs? Our needs is nutritious food, our basic necessities, having a safe home, having shelter, clothing on our bikes, right? Those are our needs. Our wants are things like dining out, right? We don't necessarily need to dine out. We want to dine out. Concert tickets, as I was mentioning earlier, that I like to go to concerts, but that's a want. It's not a need. Vacation, believe it or not, vacation is a want and not a need. But I'll say that it's a little bit of both because sometimes we do need a little bit of break. Sometimes we do need that mental health break, right? Now we have our needs, we have our wants on the screens. Anything else anyone would like to share? Any other needs or wants that we would add to this list? Any other needs or wants out there that we would like to share? Feel free to raise your hand.
Um, a need would be like something that's essential, like water, housing, food, of course, lighting, like those. Wants would be like, like entertainment services like Netflix, Prime Videos, or buy. Well, you would need a car. You would probably need a bike, but it'd be better to have a car. So you could put a bike as a want. Uh, what else? I think that's all I got.
Thank you, BJ. Those are some great examples, right? Thinking again, and I like how you separated it because you even started to think the well, do I need a bike or do I want a bike? Do I need a car or do I want a car? Right. And for everyone, the other thing too, needs and wants could be different for everyone. For the most part, the basic necessities, like BJ just shared, though, they will be the food, it will be clothes, and like it will be shelter, things he even mentioned like the water, right? Those things will be basic needs. But then our wants, for the most part, yes, our wants definitely can vary because someone might say, you know what, I don't need a car. I can walk to work. Work is close, or I can catch a bus, or a bus card is cheaper, or it's cheaper for maybe to get in an Uber or Lyft, right? So those could change for everyone. Okay. Down, thinking about food. Eating at home, you'll see here an example. We have like a sandwich, right? We made at home that maybe costs us like about $2 to $3 between getting like the bread, getting like the deli meat, and everything like that. Now, eating out could cost us definitely more. Now, I'm sure eating out is fun. We get to spend time with our friends. We get to spend time with our family. Maybe even a delicious meal that is cooked compared to us, depending if we're like cooks and chefs or not, right? But you'll see now with spending money out, eating out, yes, it definitely will cost more. We have to pay that chef that is cooking that food for us. We have to pay the waitress or waiter that is serving us. Now even with tips, right? After we finish eating. So always thinking about that even when we're eating out, the expense. If you are going to eat out, thinking about, well, how many times is reasonable in my budget to eat out per week? Or if I'm ordering food for like lunch, what is reasonable? Nicole was sharing earlier, she said, oh, well, the school has lunch, so I can actually eat at school instead of purchasing snacks. And sometimes making again those buying decisions will come directly down to that. Well, what is my other option? What is my most cheapest option as well? Okay. All right. Shopping. A lot of you were mentioning earlier about the shopping and understanding, well, you know what? I don't know if I want to buy this shirt or not. How much will this cost? Again, is this part of my budget? Does it fit? Sometimes we do need to go for the sale. We need to go for the discount because in our budget, maybe we could not splurge and go spend $50 or spend $100 on a brand name t-shirt, but the thrifty t-shirt still looks nice, find something that you like. Again, if you're like a fashionista like myself, I'm always looking for like the sales, right? I'm always looking for let me see if I can find like a code online for like Fashion Over or something like that, right? Looking to see, well, how do I still get what I would like to buy, but get it again at a cheaper price, getting it at a bargain. Because this is also still considered a need versus wants. We know that we need clothes, right? But now, how do we get that clothing or that item or those shoes, or anything else specifically that is not specifically here on this list, but how do we get it again at a cheaper price? Yes, Latoya.
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted your opinion, Miss Tamara, about different programs like Affirm and Klarna and all these new things that have hit in the scene. Just your financial opinion about, using those services to buy things. What are your thoughts, or what can you share, like with the group, about those different services?
Great question. Whenever I do my credit workshop now, I actually include that because I think about layaway. So some of you may not have ever heard of layaway, but that's what I would consider Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm to be now. Pretty much what layaway used to be was a service and option where you're able to buy something now and pay on it later as you go. And then some things you had to maybe leave in the store, come back and get it. Affirm and Klarna pretty much gives you the same option where you're still able to purchase it, but you're paying over time. What I can say about it personally myself, I've never used any of the Afterpay, Klarna, or anything service, but I would say read the fine print with those because obviously they'll have requirements on those. Sometimes they may be some type of credit check that comes along with that. So I would say to be mindful, but I know a lot of people that are trying to like budget or spend and not splurge. They end up splurging a little bit, but they're thinking, okay, well, I can make 4 payments. You even have PayPal now. PayPal does that with certain transactions where you can do the same thing. You can split into 4 payments. Yes, you can pay it over time. I would say just ensure that, let's just say you're making that 4 payments, it's into your budget. And is it going to cost you more? Right? Is Afterpay or Firm going to charge you more to be able to now spread it across that 4 months? Or am I paying still the same price? Right? If you're paying like the same price, I would say do the math. I would say, does the dollars make sense? If it makes sense, where you can buy it all at once, Or you have to separate it. Am I going to pay more to separate those payments? Great question. Great question. Did we get any other questions that came in? All right. And then somebody put in there healthcare. Yes, healthcare is definitely like a need. Definitely a need. And sometimes healthcare is expensive. So sometimes we also have to make that decision. Well, you know what? In terms of either the insurance, in terms of medication, what brand, or are we going to get the generic brand? Are we going to get the original brand? Right. But a lot of times with expenses, a lot of times with those buying decisions, that's what we're trying to decide. I always say make the best financially sound, and if we're talking about health, the most financially sound and healthy decision. All right. Something else when it comes to expenses, you want to think about eventually when we do have those bills, there will be something that will be called fixed expenses, which is, for example, things like a car payment. That will be the same amount pretty much every single month. Your cell phone bill, for the most part, will be the same thing every single month. Rent will be the same thing unless your landlord decides to increase that at some point in time, right? Then you have those flexible expenses. You have gas. Gas changes sometimes every 2, 3 days. If food prices change, we are currently going through what? Let's see, quick trivia question. What are we currently going through right now in the economy? Who can
Inflation.
tell us? Inflation. Yes, and that was very loud and there was an emphasis on that. Is that Janaya?
Yes.
Yes, right? We're going through inflation. And so the prices on food constantly change. You might go to ShopRite is one price, Stop and Shop is one price. You go week to week or twice in a week, the prices are changing. And something that I definitely want to share earlier in terms of sometimes those buying decision too. I say look for those tags when you're in the supermarket, the buy one get one free, the buy two get one free. A lot of these stores they have like apps like Stop and Shop, ShopRite. They have apps where you can add deals onto your phone or add the coupons onto like the app itself. And then once you put in your card when you get to the store, it'll ring up. And then maybe shop according to the things that you like, but shop to see in that list, well, you know, what is currently on sale? Or what coupons do I have from like the app? I don't know if anyone out there uses like CVS. CVS has like an app and always have like these great deals depending what you're spending money on. And I usually right before I go to CVS, I'm looking through the app, I'm adding all the coupons, whether I'm going to use it or not going to use it, I add all the coupons to my card. So that way, if there is any deal for me to get off, I'll be able to get that deal. And a lot of times, again, with those flexible expenses, that's what we have to do because we can't control those amounts, right? We don't control the economy, but we can control our spending. You also have on there, we have gaming for anybody out there that plays like video games, enjoys. I know over time that gets expensive. Sometimes even if we buy the games on like on our phone and Candy Crush and we need like extra lives or something, they're charging us if we don't have someone to send like a live to us, right? So think about those expenses as well. Those are flexible, but they do add up over time. Okay, they do add up. All right. Looking at now a budget, we have Devin here. Devin is 19 years old. Devin lives at home. He works part time and he goes to community college. He gets by each month, but he is unable to save. And then a lot of us here, for all the adults here that are paying bills, sometimes we'll call that like living paycheck to paycheck, right? Just getting by, but we're not able to save. Money goal for him is he actually would like to save for an electric bike. So BJ, here we have someone that is a bike is something that he needs, right? So his community college fees, he's paying about $250 a month. His internet is costing him $90 a month. His cell phone bill is $85. He eats out monthly and it costs him $180. He shops for $80. His gaming subscription is $40. So he's spending about $725 a month, right? Now, what is Devin going to do to try to save so that he can buy his electric bike? He said the school fees, he doesn't control that, so he can't change that right away. The internet, though, maybe he'll switch a provider and see, let's see who got the best deal, right? So he'll switch providers. His cell phone bill, he'll try the same thing, maybe try to change around his plan, see what type of discounts are out there. Eating out, he said that, you know what, I'm going to cut back. I'm going to have takeout lunch instead. So he took $40 from there. Shopping, he said he's going to pay attention to like the sales and the coupons we were just talking about, right? So he's saving another $20 there. His gaming subscriptions. He said, I'm going to cut back, take $10 out of that. He's saving by cutting one of the two subscriptions that he have. Now, originally, his monthly expenses were $725. With all the cuts he was able to put in, he's now looking at $610, which saves him $115. He was able to go through his budget and look at the expenses and figure out where is it that I can cut back. You'll also see that this is color coordinated. So you'll see where it's blue, that's fixed, green, that's need, and then in the orange, those are wants, the non-essential expenses. So when you're creating that budget and you're breaking everything down, that's definitely an activity that will become beneficial, but it does take a little time, does take a little bit of patience when we're creating these budgets to go through everything. Sometimes with the banking apps, they do have like a what's called a spending report, and you'll be able to see where you're currently spending your money now, how much you're spending in each category to now look, okay, well, let's see, how do I cut back? Any questions on this? Any questions on Devin's budget? Any questions? All right. So, with his cash flow, the details overall, his monthly income, he was only able to have $15 from the beginning because he was already making 740, but his budget and expenses was 725. Now he had from $15 left over, now he has $130 left over, right? So not only has money to put aside for his electric bike per month, he also has money to put aside for his regular savings. Okay. So anytime you're creating a budget, always thinking about, especially if you are getting paid income after taxes, the fixed expenses will be those monthly bills. If there's any saving goals that you have, any of those flexible expenses, you subtract all of that from whatever is coming in the income. Whatever's left over is the budget result. If you see that it is at zero, it's in the red, or it's not the dollar amount that you're expecting, this is now where we go back like what Devin did, write everything down and see where do we cut back, where can we make some changes. Here on the screen, you actually have an option where you all can scan this QR code. It will actually take you directly to a budget builder worksheet where you can build your own budget. It's really a great tool. You can type in on there any type of bills that you may have, how much it's costing you per month. What I usually say with this, get like a statement, like a bank statement, and that way from the bank statement, you're getting an average amount to add up on a monthly basis, pretty much how much you're spending for each category. Okay, but please feel free to scan this QR code to be able to access the Budget Builder worksheet. All right, and now to close this out, we have to make a habit of saving, right? We were just talking about saving $1 less every day, how much that would add up to. Saving $5 less every day. Saving can help us manage our money more confidently. Even those small changes, the reason that they matter is because over time, we're creating a consistent habit. And you'll see right there in a bullet point 3, consistency counts and everything, even with your goals that you're creating, even whether it's financial, it's not financial, ensuring that you create that consistency around that goal and you will definitely accomplish it, right? Consistency goes right along with creating habit, it goes right along with disciplining ourselves. What is my overall goal? Why do I want to accomplish this goal? How will I accomplish this goal? Whether it is a monthly savings, whether it is cutting back, right? Whether it is getting maybe an accountability partner to help us out. But any goal that you have, there will be a requirement for you to be consistent. Okay. All right. 3 types of saving goals that you may have. It could be that, you know what, I just don't have nothing specific that I want to save for, but I want to save for those unexpected expenses. For example, the car, right? If anyone out there drive, at any point in time, that car may need a repair, right? Maybe it's your computer. At any point in time, you may need a laptop. So putting money aside, that just in case money, that emergency savings fund, or that rainy day fund money. Then you have what's called a short-term saving goals. This is money that maybe you'll need in the next 6 months. Maybe it's for a trip. Maybe it's for something electronic you want to buy. Maybe it's for an apartment, right? Anything that you're looking to purchase. Maybe it's for the holidays. Maybe it's for your birthday. That could be anything again within 6 months that would be considered a short-term saving goals. And then last we have a long-term saving goals, which is pretty much anything more than 2 years. This could be that, you know what, I do want to go to college. I need to start paying for tuition at some point in time. I want to save up for that. I want to save up maybe for books, right? Or I do want to buy a car. I need a down payment for a car. I do want to get an apartment. I need a down payment, security deposit for an apartment, right? Whatever goals that you have in mind, you can separate it into either of these categories, whether again, it is an emergency savings fund, it is short-term saving goals, or a long-term saving goals. You also have where if you're thinking about, well, where do I put this money now that I'm saving it? Well, you have an option. You could put it in the checking account, which typically a lot of times with checking, people use it for those everyday purchases, those everyday transactions. Again, whether you're eating out, you're paying bills, checking money pretty much can be easily accessible with the debit card at any ATM or with the payment apps, right? We have all types of options now to transfer money to each other, whether it's Zelle, we have the option of Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, right? Some places take there's like a new one called like Pays that you can use at checkout, or even online. You have where you can use like PayPal at checkouts too, right? So that's your checking. Then you have what's called the savings. This is ideal overall. So instead of saving it at home in the piggy bank or in the money jar, being able to save it at the specific bank is ideal for saving money for larger purchases or unexpected expenses. Another habit I've always learned over time is if I can't physically see the money, then I don't touch it. So by the money being in the bank, you put it in the savings account. It's not always easily accessible, just like how your checking account may be. And then we had Hitesh earlier. He was talking to us about interest and compound interest. Savings may earn interest. So that's something that you always want to ask your banker. Will this money be able to earn interest, which will help your money grow over time? Okay. So overall, with everything we talked about today, you want to stick to your plan, stick to your goals. How do you do that? Consider using planned spending accounts, right? So with those spending accounts, it could be however you set it up, whereas again, have a option for like a spending report where you're able to know, well, you know what, I have direct deposit, my paycheck goes into my account. Okay. Now I have like a checking account, my money pretty much this is for my everyday expenses. This is for my groceries. This is for my cell phone bill. This is for dining out. Maybe this is for the movies. Maybe this is for streaming, right? That's what you would use the checking for. And then now you have a savings goal in mind. You know what? I want to save for a vacation, or maybe I want to save for a car down payment. As you're making expenses, as you're saving, continue to track it, right? Continue to track it again, whether it's from technology. Some people say, you know what, I like pen and paper. I want to write it down as with my budget. I want to know what's happening with it. You can create your own digital budget as well, or you can use the budget worksheet that we shared earlier. And the last part, it says regular checkups. This is again back to that consistency. You want to keep checking that budget. You want to keep checking that spending report. Where am I spending my money at? What is actually happening to money? If we're not even sure in terms of like a savings, if you're able to save, track it and then check on it to be sure that the money is going where you want it to go. You're spending a reasonable amount again within your budget as well. So overall, sticking to your plan. Right? So today we have talked about setting actionable goals, talked about creating a budget. We also talked about beginning your journey as a saver. So if you have not saved prior to today, today is the time to start. After today, I hope that that is a major goal for you all to create the habit. I already know that everyone here has a lot of great goals from what you have shared today. And I also wish you all the best because I know that you will be motivated based off all the accountabilities that you have here. You have great accountability partners from through S.O.A.R and then everyone else that is a scholar here that we can all lean on each other to continue to accomplish all of our goals. I want to thank you all for your time. I'm going to turn it over to Latoya for our trivia and questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Miss Tamara, for that wonderful, wonderful, insightful presentation about saving and budgeting, all great reminders and all great information for us to have. Scholars, do you have any questions? We have two more things to do. We're going to do our trivia. The winner of that will be going home with a prize. I hope you're all engaged and paying attention. And not just our scholars, but anyone on the call can participate and get the prize for that if they do the trivia. And then also wanted to we'll share a survey for this networking event just to get your perspectives on how it went. Anyone have any question for Miss Tamara? You want to pick her brain? I did have one that came up as you were sharing about emergency funds. What would you recommend to everyone here today would be the recommended amount or percentage? I've heard like different like amounts that you should save. What would be the recommended amount for emergency savings that you should save?
So prior to 2025, I would say 3 to 6 months. I say now at least 6 to 9 months. I think the
Okay,
pandemic taught us the best that like you never know what could drastically happen. So at least 6 to 9 months.
excellent. All right, everybody heard that? So that means we all got 6 to 9 months in savings and untouched. That's great information. Anything else? Oh, I had another question, Mr. Mayor, that came up. What would you say to someone who had hesitancies about putting their money into a bank? You know, someone like a conspiracy theorist about banks. What would you say to them?
Great question. I get that question a lot. So I put it into perspective and I say, okay, well, if we lose physical cash, who replaces that for us? If the money is sitting in the bank and we know that there's a protected amount, without me getting too technical, there's a protected amount of money in the bank. You have a debit card. If you lose your debit card, the money will still be there. You lose that physical cash, no one can replace that for you. So if it's not just for the fact of there is someone looking over and protecting that money for you, I would say that it's considered a safe place to put the money.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Anyone else had any questions that came up? Any burning questions about money skills or anything you want to ask, Miss Tamara? Anyone on the call?
I didn't have a question, just a comment. Mr. Mara, I
Mhm.
felt like you were in our Zoom room because we were talking about different ways to save. I think I was in the room with Nicole and Alexis, and Alexis she mentioned a few different strategies that she has, but she also mentioned something very old school, which I thought was pretty cool that she still does it. She has a piggy bank. And sorry, Miss Alexis, if I'm blowing up your spot, but I think that's awesome, right? Like, because I have a piggy bank for my kids. And I thought I was the only one. So, to know that, that still exists, right? People still put money under the mattress. But I think it's awesome to have just different ways by which to save. And you also mentioned having it which I said to Nicole Alvarez and Alexis, if it's out of sight, out of mind, right? If I don't see it, I don't remember it, I don't spend it. And so a lot of times any money that I get in, there is a portion of it that I'll put into my savings account that I really don't even use that account for anything. And so I really forget that we have it. But it keeps me from trying to spend it because I don't remember that it's really there. So I think those are great tools and tips to share with us. And I'm glad I'm on the right path towards success. Now I just got to get to that 6 to 9 month thing because I don't know about that. It might be a bit of a struggle for me, but we'll try. I'll let you
Thank you
know how
for
it's
Thank you
going.
for sharing, Rosie. And trust me, the 6 to 9 months is not easy. Even myself, I'm constantly having to remind myself that, you know what, did I get the 6 months? Okay, I'm not there yet. Let me keep going. But I would say again, those small changes, they'll make the big differences over time.
All right. Thank you both for sharing. I actually, Miss Rosie, was thinking of you. I remember when you first moved up here, we were driving in the car. I remember you balancing your checkbook um, by hand. That was like I had never seen anyone do it so consistently before. And I was like, wow, she is really writing down everything she's purchasing. And now we have so many tools, right, to like track money. It's crazy that well, we're showing our age a little bit, but you used to have to write down what you were spending in your checkbook.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, that's
interesting you say that because I literally was going through some of my old purses and I found one of my balancing checkbooks with all of my all of my dollar amounts and what it was and the date of the spending. And yeah, I was really adamant about that because I learned from experience, right? I learned by bouncing checks. I learned by not having enough money to cover the things that I was spending so much on and not having, you know not having that in the bank to cover it. So sometimes experience is the best teacher, and I think in my case, that was certainly the case. And I learned from that. I also worked at a bank at the time when I learned that, that strategy, and so it kind of, now I don't do it in the book. I actually just do it online because everything's virtual and digital now. But yeah, same rule applies. Either way, same rule. So, yep.
Absolutely. All
But great class.
right.
Thank you. Great class. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And these are things that people pay for, right? These are gems that people pay for, and we're offering these things, these concepts, and spending tips and money management. We're teaching it to to anyone really who's willing to learn. Things that we didn't have. I didn't have when I was in high school. I didn't have when I was a young adult. I learned by experience, trial and error most of the time. And so I'm so grateful that we have people like you, people like my husband who also works in finance, to help us. People like Mario, I'm so excited to have him teach the credit management class, because it's really important to understand the basics of managing your credit, because it could really be detrimental um, to you if you don't understand it. So thank you so much, Tamara.
And thank you for having me. I enjoy every single time, and anytime that your group needs me, please always feel free to reach out, because I enjoy doing the workshop, sharing the information. And similar to you, I did not know any of this until I started working in banking, and that was 12 years ago. So this is only 12 years overtime of experience, and I'm still learning. So I'm glad that you all were also able to experience this with us. We don't want you all to go through the financial hardships that some of us may have experienced. We want you to be prepared, right? For any type of emergency that may come up, any type of financial expense that may come up. So thank you again.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with all those beautiful, wonderful words, we'll go ahead and jump into our trivia quiz. So I saw some thumbs up in there. I'm gonna drop the invitation in the chat one more time for those of you who may have missed it. I only see 3 thumbs up in there, so let's get some more folks in there so you can win a prize. All right, got another thumbs up in there. All right, got 5 folks in there. Give it a few more seconds and then we'll jump in. All right, we're up to 8. Excellent. All right, here we go. Got to answer fast to get more points, okay? So what does the M stand for in the SMART acronym? Okay, M is measurable. All right, we got more players in there now. What are the 2 components of a budget? Income and expenses. What is it called when you overspend while shopping? Splurge. Excellent. What are the 2 types of expenses? Fixed and flexible. All right, let's see where we are.
By the way, Ted is me.
I'm sorry?
And by the way, do you see the guy called Ted on top?
Uh-huh.
That's
Oh,
me.
that's you, Hitesh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have time
Okay,
to
no problem.
change my name.
Okay, so it chose one for you. No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know. We'll call you Ted from now on, right? All right, what are one of the three savings goals? Okay, no problem, Liv. I got you. All right, emergency savings. All right, we're at question number 6. We're almost there. Where can you store your money at the bank? Checkings and savings. Last one. What is the best practice to manage your money? Track those expenses. Excellent. All right. Here are the final results. The winner is Hitesh, aka Ted. Great job, Ted. You
Thank you.
won a prize. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Brr,
All
brr,
right. Thank you all
brr.
so
Great
much.
job, Hitesh.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much. Before you exit, I just wanted to thank you all again, once again, for your time and being here. I also wanted to share the survey link to get all of yours feedback. We do these virtual networking events on a quarterly basis, so please let us know what your suggestions are. If you have any networking events you'd like to see, if you'd like to talk to fellow community members about anything, definitely let us know what topics you'd like to hear more about. Just bear with me one second.
And Latoya, do our winners know what they've won tonight?
They do not. Will you mind sharing?
Yes, absolutely. So, who's our first winner, by the way? Because you have to have
Nana.
remained on the line for the duration of the class. I don't know if you told them. Is Nana there? I see
Yep,
Nana.
she's right
Nana
there.
Yeah.
Patel. Hi, Nana.
Hi.
Congratulations, our very first winner. And the longest sitting member tonight. Congratulations. You have won a $25 gift card to Amazon, and that will be coming to you soon. Yes, congratulations.
Thank
Likewise
you.
to Ted, aka Hitesh.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, Hitesh, on your win of $25 gift card to Amazon. So we do love to give back in any way, form, or fashion. Make sure you spend it wisely. Congrats, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Congrats to our winners. The survey's in the chat. And once you fill out the survey, you are free to exit. Thank you all for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to Miss Tamara. Thank you to you all.